Let's go to Kyle in Valparaiso. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, what's up, Dr. John? How you doing?
I'm good, my brother. What about you, man?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. Life's pretty crazy, but doing all right.
Well, thanks for calling, man. It means a lot to me. What's up?
Yeah, so almost a year ago, I left my stable yet very unfulfilling job. Just went all in on starting my own business, which was something that I always wanted to do. Also, my wife and I, we purchased our first house in March, and then we got married in September. So, because why not? Throw all this stuff in.
Why not?
All at once.
Why not? And we bought a pony.
So anyways, yeah. So it's my first business I've had, and so it's stressful, and I've noticed a lot of some unhealthy thought patterns that I've had my whole life, but they've really come on strong with this, this big life change. And my wife is very supportive of me. I feel very lucky to have her. Sometimes, though, I feel like with these thought patterns, intrusive thoughts, I can push her away. So to get more into detail on that, I've always had a very active mind. I've struggled a lot with intrusive thoughts, obsessive thinking, perfectionism. And it's hard for me to control sometimes. And so something little could come up in the day, let's say with my business, I'm not where I think I should be, or I'm not, didn't make the right choice, or I'm not making enough money. I don't have enough customers. And then, something little could just snowball very quickly, go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And I can't stop it. And then all of a sudden, the world's ending and I want to stop, quit the business because I'm failing. And so these outside things have very strong hold on how I feel.
Let me interrupt you there.
I just need help.
Let me interrupt you there.
What's that?
Let me interrupt you there. You have given external people and systems and opinions that sort of grasp.
Right.
And this will be the cornerstone of you either getting well or you not. Because if you believe that you are subject to, that you are a slave to these outside things, the reports, then you will always be spinning your wheels, duct taping over the leaks in the dam, right? You will always be trying to patch over. Well, I'm anxious over here and I'm not sleeping over here, so I'm just going to ignore this. I'm going to quit doing this. I'm going to stop talking to this person. I'll quit this job and get this job. I'll quit that job and get this job. You're going to be moving around until you take ownership over. My body's been trying to keep me safe for a long, long time. And it does that by trying to dress rehearse tragedy, by trying to think of the worst thing that could possibly happen ever and reverse engineer what we need to do right now to prevent fill in the blank. There's a great quote by Viktor Frankl, I think it is, and I'll butcher the quote, but anxiety will fill as much space as you give it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would ask you is, what's the earliest you can remember these intrusive thoughts where you would just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin?
I mean, since I was probably 7 or 8, I don't have the specific examples, but I would just always be in my head and struggle to pay attention in school, for example. I don't know exactly what I was thinking about, but I could just always remember just always being in my head.
Was speaking your opinions out loud something that was frowned upon?
No, not in my my house or anything, but it was always difficult for me. I struggled with self-esteem as a kid.
What's the origin of that, though, is what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
Somebody told you either affirmatively, oh, you're too small to play ball, or you're not fast enough, or you're military material. They told you crap like that, or they didn't look at you and say, God almighty, every day I'm so grateful that I get to be your mom. I get to be your dad. I get to be your teacher.
Yeah. I mean, my parents are awesome. They the best parents I could ask for. So I think I just feel like, I feel I was born with the attention issues and um, the struggling to focus and intrusive thoughts. I mean,
Okay.
maybe that's not how that works, but that's what it feels like.
The best way I've heard explained is from the great Brene Brown. She says, genetics loads the gun, but environment pulls the trigger.
Right.
And what's
Right.
beautiful about that is that you and I can both be wired up for certain things. But if it's the environment that sets these things off, that means there's something in that we can control.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of trying to solve for each individual anxiety, I'm anxious in front of people, I'm anxious for this thing, I want to create a non-anxious life.
Yeah.
And I want to work from there. And so you need to hear me say out loud, rumination, worrying literally solves nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it was like a light bulb moment when someone first told me that. I think it was a counselor friend of mine first told me that. Because my life was like a better mind. Remember that movie? I was always waiting for this, so that this could happen, and then I could sell this, and then this was going to happen. And I was talking to my wife this morning. In fact, I'm writing another book on anxiety. And this morning, my wife and I were talking about it, and I asked her, what was it like? And she said, you always had a new thing that was going to be the final solution. And she said, I would listen to you, and you were nuts. You were going to get this other job, or you just needed to do this one thing so that this one person would see you so you could get this promotion and then make this much money, and then it would be okay. Or I'm going to go be a full vegan. I'm going to be a raw vegan, and that's going to fix the. I just always had a thing, and I was so confident in the thing. She said that she felt crazy, and she knew she wasn't crazy, but her body told her she was. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's always this thing. Until I realized none of those things are going to solve a life that has nothing to anchor into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's back all the way out. Give me the names, just the first names, of 2 or 3 or 4 men in your life that you love and you hang out with regularly, and you don't have to hide anything from.
First names you said?
Yep.
Okay. Kyle.
Okay.
Scott. I think that's about it. That's
and you see those 2 guys regularly, once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Not regularly.
What did they say when you told them, "Hey, I'm really struggling with anxiety"?
I haven't told. I think I've told Kyle about it.
There you go. Here's what I'm getting at. You have to have people in your life that you can be honest and tell the truth to, and you don't have that.
Right.
You have people in your life that you protect and you take care of and you hang out with, but not people that I would consider in your tribe.
Right.
And my guess is, if your marriage is like mine, you've begun to keep secrets from your wife about how scared you are that you quit your steady job, that you thought starting your own business, you'd be a little more successful than you are right now, and you thought it would make you feel differently, and it hasn't. And so you sit on that because you don't want to freak her out or make her any more nervous than she already is and all that, and that creates space, and that space is called dishonesty. You're not telling her the truth. And she feels it and doesn't know what to do with it, and so she tries to solve it. And she creates a world that she can survive in because she doesn't know what's happening in your world. It just feels electric in there. And your body feels that she is heading off into another direction, so it spins faster. You see what I'm saying? This whole thing creates a dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for the first time in your life, probably, you've got to find a couple of people, including her, and say the words, "I'm scared. I am spinning out. My thoughts are spinning out. I'm exhausted. And the only path forward I can see is to work faster and harder." And I don't know if I got that. You have to speak these fears out loud, because here's what your body will do. It will link the terror part of your brain with your frontal lobe, with the thinking part. And it will go, oh, he recognizes the threats. We don't have to keep banging on these drums in the back of his head. He's driving. He's aware. And then you can actually start solving some of these things because the alarms will begin to go down. That's number one. That's connectivity. Number two, are you safe? Do you owe money to people?
No.
You don't owe anybody any money?
No.
Okay. Do you have abusive employees? Are you in a unsafe business? Have you bitten off more than you could chew with your business?
No, not at all.
Okay. Are y'all making money? You're going to make your house notes and things?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
we have pay our mortgage and stuff.
Great. So you just said you didn't owe anybody any money. Besides your mortgage, who do you owe money to? Student loans, car notes, credit cards?
No student loans, cars, car notes, and then a little bit of credit card.
Okay, when I say, do you owe anybody any money, and you say no, those are people you owe money to, okay?
Okay.
I am convinced.
Okay, I heard it wrong.
I am convinced with all of my guts that our frontal lobes, our thinking brain, can understand, ooh, this is a great purchase. This is 0% down. This is a good interest rate or whatever. But our amygdala, the part of, I probably even go as far as to say the HPA axis, the entire system knows if one thing happens in this business, we don't make the car note, they come take the car, it ruins my credit, I can never borrow again, I don't have a rate. See where it starts spinning out on us? I'm convinced with all of my guts that if you owe money to somebody, your body will not let you rest because it knows at its core level that you're not safe. Because at any moment, this stuff goes away. And so whatever you got to do, I want you to stay on the line. I'm going to send you some stuff. I'm going to send you Financial Peace University, the class to help you get out of debt. And I know you didn't call for this, but I'm convinced that it's a marriage tool also, and it's an anti-anxiety tool also, because it's going to force you and your wife to sit down and talk through what are our goals and who do we want to become as a couple. And it's going to force you into a plan. If you choose to, you can throw it in the garbage for all I care, but it's going to force you into a plan. It's going to help you not owe anybody anything. And it's going to let your brain finally go, whew. And I'm telling you this as a guy that had a 6-figure mortgage and 6-figure student loan debts because I got a bunch of stupid degrees. Actually, they're not stupid. I'm proud of them. I had a bunch of degrees and I had a bunch of credit card debt and I had a car note. And the difference between that guy and me now is a radically different person. The stressors in my life are tenfold what they were. But my body isn't constantly, I get fired tomorrow, that'll suck. But I'm not going to miss a meal. No one's going to come take my house away from me. You see what I'm saying? Right. That is a different legacy. That's number 2. So we're talking about connection, we're talking about safety, and the third one is autonomy. Who decides what you do tomorrow? Is it you, or is it this business that you have a business loan on? Is it Toyota Motor Company? Who decides what you do tomorrow?
Who decides? I decide.
Are you sure? Can you take tomorrow off and just go spend a day with your wife?
Probably not. No,
you can't. That means somebody else is pulling your strings. And so what I want you to do is to go down a list of who has their hooks in you. Who decides what you do tomorrow? Now, and obviously tomorrow is maybe it's a bad example. Maybe you got a big business meeting and things like that. I totally get that. But I'm talking on a global level. If your brain knows that you are not driving the car, somebody else is. You've outsourced that to a mortgage company, to a boss, to a business that you're underwater in, whatever. It's not going to let you rest. It can't afford for you to go all the way under into deep REM sleep because you're not safe. It can't afford for you to spend time having sex. This isn't a time to reproduce. This is a time to not die, right? It's an ancient system that we got designed to keep us from getting eaten by bears, but it's running all the time. All right. So backing all the way out, here's what I've had to do. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I've got this. I've got a notebook that I got, and you may have heard me talk about this on the show. And I still carry it around with me everywhere. And I've got not hundreds. I've got dozens of these journals over the last decade that I've got in a drawer in my house in a filing cabinet that I'm still deciding whether to give to my kids or not one day, or just putting them in the fire pit outside. But it's a thoughts journal. And here's what I do. I keep my gratitude journal in here now. Every day I wake up and say, hey, here's 5 things I'm grateful for. And that's just a spiritual practice that I recommend you do. The second thing is every time your brain starts to spin out on you, stop. Literally say out loud, nope, stop, nope. And write down, is this true? Whatever the story is. So here's a good example. My daughter, I think I've told this on the show before. I kissed my 6-year-old daughter on the forehead as I was walking out of the house to go to the gym at like 5 in the morning or something. And she turns around and yells, I wish you never existed. All you ever tell me is that I'm smart and brilliant and beautiful and I can't live like this. I'm not going to take it anymore. And I was like, whoa. And so I walked outside on the front porch and the first thought that came in my mind, the very first thought is, of course, because you suck at being a dad. You're never here. You're always on the road. You're always prepping for some talk or writing some stupid book. Of course, she doesn't want you kissing on their head because you suck at this. And that haunted me for about 45 seconds. And then I made it down to my basement gym and I pulled this little notebook out and I wrote down in it, you suck at being a dad, period. And then I looked at it and I asked myself the magic question, is this true? The answer is no, it's not. I'm a great dad. I'm a good dad. Maybe I'm not great. I'm good at it. And I work really hard at it. And in that process, I stopped the cycle before it started. The one that begins to solve for you're a bad dad and fills my body with cortisol and adrenaline. And now I'm off to the races. And what do I need to do? I need to lose weight, but I can't lose weight because I've been doing this and I got to quit my job, but I can't quit my job. You see, you know what I'm talking about? Because you go on that road all the time, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to stop that sucker on the front end because I know that ruminating and worrying is not helping my problems. And now that I know that, I'm going to consciously practice stopping that train before it leaves the station or right as it's leaving the station. And then occasionally one gets out. And when it goes, I'm going to smile at it. I'm going to be curious about it. I'm going to be like, oh, there it goes. Oh, boy, here we go. It's like getting stuck on a roller coaster. And so it's going to go. And I go, here we go. I'm going to be curious about it. I'm not going to allow myself to get anxious about being anxious again. Right?
Yes.
And that's where you are. You're worried about being worried about things at this point, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Let me ask you this last question. Is your business going to make it?
I hope so. I'm not sure.
Nope. Own reality. Is it going to make it or not make it?
It's going to make it.
What's the business?
It is a residential cleaning business.
Okay. And so it's like you hire people to go clean homes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Are you making a profit?
A little bit. Not much.
Okay. What's the scalability?
Scalability, I think it's very scalable. I'm just working on getting more clients, and then so I could hire more teams. And I think there's a lot of people living here, so I think there's a lot of opportunity.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find 2 or 3 people, either in the Valparaiso or get in a car and drive a few hours to a couple of cities that are around you that are big. Go over to Indianapolis. Go over to Chicago. Find somebody who runs a cleaning business. I want you to offer to buy them dinner and just say, I need some mentoring and coaching. I need you to walk me through, what does this look like? Like, what does success look like? How have you found success in getting new clients? Or is it's word of mouth? Is it this? Is it that? Here in the office, a whole bunch of people use the same crew. Some use it a couple times a week because they're rich. Other people use them once a month, but it all is word of mouth, right? So sit with somebody who's doing the thing you want to do at the level you want to do it and ask them humbly, take a knee and say, hey, I'm into this thing up to my eyeballs. I'm starting to spin out a little bit. What are the pitfalls where I need to go from here? And you're going to get some real wisdom, not from YouTube, not from you doing back of the napkin math or coming up with yet another spreadsheet and another spreadsheet. You're going to get some real wisdom from some people who've already been there. Okay. So hang on the line. I'm going to send you Financial Peace University. I'm going to send you the Every Dollar app for free too for a year. I'm also going to send you a copy of Own Your Past, Change Your Future. I'm going to send you 2 copies. I want you to read one. I want your wife to read the other one. Okay. I want y'all to do this together. Okay. And I'm going to send you a copy of my book, Redefining Anxiety. I'm just going to load you up, brother, because I am you. I've been there. And I need you to hear me say before I get off the phone, there is light at the end of this tunnel if and only if you want it. Because anxiety keeps us safe until it burns everything else to the ground. Ask yourself, do I want to be free from this? And if you do, I got the roadmap for you, my brother.